Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Anirban Ghoshal. Welcome to this very special session under our ET Unwired series called Cutting Chai Stories, an Indianized version of what people globally often refer to as conversations over a hot cup of tea or coffee. The series is geared towards identifying leaders and understanding the very traits, routines, and thought processes that makes these leaders stand out in the industry across different sectors and verticals. During the conversation, we will try to get a glimpse of the person, both professional and personal, who not only takes critical business decisions, but ensures that the revenue clock keeps ticking. And today we have with us a very special guest, a technology leader who's a savant in his area of work. Without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Yoginder Grewal, Chief Technology Officer, Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages Private Limited. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Grewal.
Thanks, Anirban. Good to be here.
Uh, you know, let's start right away. Often leadership qualities, in our life are influenced by the different experiences we sort of grow up with, or the kind of childhood that we have spent. Would you sort of rewind a little, go back to your younger years and give us a sense of how those experiences have influenced or shaped your career and your leadership style?
Yeah, sure, Anirban. So actually, I came from education family. My mother and father was in education. So a lot of focus on academics, and it was kind of already decided path that, BSc, MSc, PhD, and, the education. So a lot of academics. So I always miss the execution component. So that's what I really always, when I get into the professional life, I was really, focused on learning by doing, just seeing how it works, what doesn't work. So I think that was one of the, important component. And second thing was also, we used to hear during our childhood, if you are, selected for IAS or IIT, you are done, then rest of the life you don't have to work. So I was curious because there are only few people who get there. What are, what others do, and why they cannot be successful. So with that curiosity and all, I really I utilize that. And whenever I work with my team also, so at least I was lucky to contribute towards success of many people who were not on that list, but they have a great career in the industry now.
You know, uh, Today's youth is confused. There is a problem of information overload. They are spoiled for choice in terms of options everywhere, right? So somebody who has so much experience, in his domain expertise, what advice would you give people who are trying to follow in your footsteps, or are at least dreaming to lead the technology portfolio for a company such as yourself?
Yeah, I think the key here is for, I would say, individuals is they need to first ask what they want, what they like, because 90% of thing is, done once they identify what they like. And because if you do what you like, you will be successful. There is no second choice. And during our time, earlier days, that time, there were not many options, etc. When we were too young those days. But now people have a lot of options. And so the key question is what they want to achieve, what is their dream. And once they find, then of course the options narrow down and they can make the right decision. And I think it's also important today, they have many options to find the you can call it success stories, or and for each of the areas. So it's not that one area is much better than other. So I think one can be successful in any area.
We cannot sort of deny that there's a pandemic raging on, right? Uh, so how does a technology leader or an IT executive or even a student sort of start managing their life? How do you advise them to manage their life, their goals, uh, in such volatile, uncertain, ambiguous, and complex situations?
This is an excellent question, and this is for everyone in the globe as of now. And you know this has taken everyone off guard. And there is a personal loss, financial loss, and it's a challenging for everyone. So it's a sad situation to be in. However, it has made us much stronger. And I think once this is over, means as a global unity, community, and as a the country as a professional, we will emerge much stronger than this. However, the learnings, I would say there are some positives as well. Nobody would have believed that, overnight organizations, whether big or small, can move to work from home with minimum disruptions. Okay, many organizations have no disruptions, some has minor, which is practically, which is practical. The another component is on a personal side, it has brought in, discipline. Personally, I can share my example, like when it happened on, I think, 17th March. So I started, 3-4 days doing nothing, and then suddenly realized this will not work like that. So I made a commitment to myself. I will do, 20,000 steps a day. And I was in Bangalore in a 1400 square feet apartment. I started on I think 22nd March with 10,000 steps. 15th April that year, last year, I touched 20,000. And till date, more than 300 days, I am, achieving that. What it has helped me in, it's like a plan. Like if I have to go out, so that's I have a calendar. I have the plan. Before lunch 10,000, after lunch 10,000. So it keeps me occupied rather than sitting idle. And same thing. What I would recommend to others is that, so it has really brought in discipline. And the another aspect is it has showed that everything is possible. So there are negatives, but there are so many positives as well. And so we will be, emerge much stronger. And I think future will be very, very bright once this is over.
Let me sort of try and delve deeper into your personal life. Typically, how has your day changed? Pre and post pandemic, right? Or what is something? What are some of the new things that you've probably, other than the walking bit or the steps bit? What is something that you've picked up or you've tried to learn as a hobby during this time?
Yeah, I think one thing is, I've tried to maintain the same. Like I used to be in office at 8 a.m. So I start my day at 8. It doesn't matter I'm at home or not. So I didn't, means instead of being, sometimes people get relaxed in working from home, I have become more, proactive, that how I can help, others and all. The third thing, which was more important, is reflection. It gives some time to reflect on what do we need in, life, and, where are we going. So that has given some kind of satisfaction that we need only this much. We don't have to, run after something which is. So that is what I think. It has brought clarity for me, at least, that what is important, because few things are just materialistics. So those are not that important. So so this is, I would say, these three things what I have followed in my day-to-day life.
You touched upon something really important, that all of us have faced loss of some kind, and that loss is more difficult to process if it's of the personal kind. So, what has been the most difficult situation during these testing times for you, and how have you sort of come out of it? And what lessons would you sort of take from that at the workplace, leading teams or in your own working style?
Yeah, before COVID, means I had a, personal situation where, my father was not well for close to 3 years of time. And so we had a kind of ICU setup at home, and I learned a lot, medical things, whether it's managing concentrator or managing the suction, managing tracheostomy, everything. So I've seen that very, very closely. So when people are, what we are going through this situation, so I can relate to that. So during that time, that was really tough for me, and that has made me strong. One thing is, you need to manage this. Second, emotionally it drains you when you see your, your loved ones in pain. And so that is, I think, the one situation, and was kind of very difficult for me, but it has made me much stronger. So I'm able to handle the current scenario in a balanced way. And same thing is also on the professional side, is on the people. I think the people is the most important. Like I was in one of the organization, I set up the center with 150 people, and then as a management decision, we have to rebadge that to others. So then, the people whom I recruited, the people whom I, assured of the, that their dreams will come true in this organization. So that was the biggest challenge for me. And I still remember that day when my father was in ICU for 7 days, and I have to go to office and present to that 150 people that now tomorrow onwards we will be another company as a leader. So, but again, what I believe in, that if you stay, if you share the facts, if you share honestly what is in for team, you stand by them and you are genuine. I think being genuine is the most important, and then people follow you, they look up to you, and then you also, then it doesn't generate stress for you, because you are honest, whatever was fact you have shared, and so that gives you strength.
You're absolutely right. A lot of people indeed look up to you. And which is why my next question is, uh, how have you sort of uh, tackled this entire change of workplace, remote work, bringing in processes to sort of gear your organization towards the pandemic? And what advice would you give to your industry peers, given what you've seen or what you've experienced during the pandemic, in terms of sort of modeling or rehauling some processes inside the organization?
Yeah, I think my first advice and suggestion would be confront the brutal facts. I think we should. It's a head-on. Means you cannot deny what are the facts. So because the moment you acknowledge that, then 100% energy you can focus on the solution and other things. So that is one advice. And second thing is, issues will always be there, challenges will always be there, and only thing we need to see, is it 1% or 10%? Okay. And the second point is also that we need to prepare for these things before crisis happens, because when crisis happen, we cannot make strategy, correct? We have to adopt, we have to act. So that is another learning. I did a course in Colombia on especially this 5-year day course 1 year before this pandemic started. So I didn't know it will happen, but that was really, really relevant. So we should prepare as an organization, as a function, what can happen and how can we do it. The last but not the least, it's the people. I think have the strong team in place and give honest feedback to teams so that they develop. Because sometimes we are a little bit uncomfortable in giving the honest feedback to the person, that how he will feel. What I have experienced in, I follow giving the honest feedback, and sometimes people call corrective feedback. And but people may feel bad or uncomfortable for few hours or few days, but later he or she realizes, wow, that will make a difference in my life. And that's my objective, that whenever they come across the situation in their life, they should be ready for that. That's my responsibility, and I take ownership for that. So these are the things, I think, small things. Again, these are all basics. It's not, nothing of that is rocket science, but very important.
No, I truly understand. I think the message from you is very clear, that you have to take the situation head on, you have to logically analyze it, and then, of course, provide solutions according to what is the need of the time and the hour. Thank you so much, Mr. Grewal, for joining us. With that, we've come to an end of the interview.